Films are made up of sequences.
Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
Sequences are made of scenes. And scenes are made up of shots. In previous episodes, we covered composition, camera movement, gear, and depth of field. All of these visual components are directly impacted by the lens a cinematographer chooses. In this episode, we will discuss types of camera lenses and the different effects each one has on visual storytelling.
Get in.
This is episode 7 of The Shot List. Camera lenses. In this episode, we'll be examining the various types of camera lenses. Along the way, we'll be populating these camera lenses in a Studio Binder shot list, which you can download and reference in your upcoming projects. But before we begin, let's go over how a lens works. Light passes into the lens and through different glass shapes called lens elements. These elements slightly bend or refract the light, so it lands on a focal point on an image sensor. This is where a picture is created. Every lens is distinguished by its focal length expressed in millimeters, such as a 50mm lens. Some common focal lengths range from the wide 17mm lens to the narrow 200mm lens. However, some lenses have extremely short focal lengths, such as a 4mm fisheye lens, or extremely long focal lengths, such as a 1200 telephoto lens. Now, focal length is simply the distance between the optical center of a lens to the image sensor. The longer the focal length, such as 100mm, the more narrow your angle of view is. The shorter the focal length, such as 24mm, the wider your angle of view. All lenses fall under two categories: prime lenses or zoom lenses. A prime lens has a fixed focal length, while a zoom lens can vary its focal length by adjusting various lens elements. In comparison with zoom lenses, prime lenses have fewer lens elements that can produce sharper images. Their larger apertures also let in more light for low-light shots, like Kubrick's iconic candlelit scenes in Barry Lyndon. The larger aperture can also capture a shallower depth of field, which is great for isolating subjects, as in The Master.
That's a lot to process.
Although zoom lenses have smaller apertures, cinematographers can shoot a wide, medium, and close-up without changing their lens, saving valuable time on set. For more on how to creatively use the zoom function, make sure to check out our previous episode on camera movement. Now that we've covered how a lens functions,
Thanks, I get it now.
let's go over the specific types used by filmmakers and how different lenses can create completely different effects. Let's start with the widest lenses. The extreme wide-angle lens. Extreme wide-angle lenses range between 18mm to 24mm. Extreme wide-angle lenses can simultaneously capture close-ups and landscapes in one shot, like in The Revenant. Some lenses have distinct distortion and enter the category of fisheye lenses. This scene from The Favourite uses the unnatural perspective of the fisheye lens to underscore the absurdity of these characters.
The Queen has decided, Harley.
I disagree. A lot. I would like an audience with the Queen where I may state my case.
Stage it to me. I love a comedy.
Fisheye lenses also exaggerate facial features when used in close proximity.
Get in.
Like in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, where a fisheye matches the character's distorted and drug-induced perspective.
Look at your face. You're about to explode.
But what if a filmmaker wants a wide angle of view without the noticeable distortion? They reach for our next lens, the wide-angle lens. Wide-angle lenses have a focal length between 24mm and 35mm. This is great for capturing wide shots like this shot from Parasite. Beyond affecting a shot's size, wide-angle lenses also accentuate movement, which is great for trucking through grocery store aisles, as in Punch Drunk Love. When used in tight spaces, wide-angle lenses can create distance.
Who are they? You gonna go beat him up for me? Nice stunt guy?
In this scene from Drive, cinematographer Newton Thomas Sigel uses a wide lens to make two characters feel far apart while also making the audience feel more present. Wide-angle lenses are great for influencing the audience's perspective, but they can also create a very stylized look. If a DP wants a more natural look, they might use our next lens, the standard lens. Standard lenses, also called normal lenses, are lenses between 35mm to 50mm. The focal length of standard lenses are most similar to how the human eye sees the world. This becomes the ideal choice when cinematographers want a grounded and natural presentation. For example, director Luca Guadagnino's film Call Me By Your Name was entirely shot on a 35mm lens for this reason.
Only one lens, we didn't choose any other lenses, we only shoot with 35mm. For me, to get a sense of human eye and simplicity, I wanted to be straightforward. I didn't want to create technology between the camera and the performance.
What does one do around here?
Wait for the summer to end.
Yeah. What do you do in the winter? Wait for summer to come?
Well, we only come here for Christmas and some other vacations.
Christmas, I thought
And Easter as well.
I thought you were Jewish.
Well, we are Jewish, but also American, Italian, French, somewhat atypical combination.
A standard lens helps us feel like we're seeing with our own eyes, allowing us to feel present, in the moment, and part of the story. It is the opposite effect of our next lens, the telephoto lens. A telephoto lens is any lens with a focal length of 70mm and up, often referred to as long lenses. Telephoto lenses are typically used for capturing distant subjects, making us feel like we are observing the scene from afar. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy has surveillance at the core of its story.